Hi, my name is Christos Berimbakis and I am from Greece. Today I'll try to explain, unfortunately in a short video length, the usage of the 5 most important synthesis modules: oscillator, filter, amplifier, envelope and LFO. In order to understanding better, I think of sound synthesis in 2 steps. Step 1 is creation and sculpture, that includes oscillator, filter and amplifier, and step 2 is modulation and shape, that includes envelope and LFO. For this example we will use Reason 5. Here, with oscillator or VCO, voltage controlled oscillator, which is the area here, we create the sound in a specific waveform: a sawtooth, square, triangle, sine and noise, which is not here at the moment. So the oscillator is the source of the sound. The filter or VCF, voltage control filter, or FIL, which is this area, and it can be modulated. And the most modulatable thing in a filter is filter cut off. It's a kind of sweeping sound across it, or a wah-wah type of sound. Also, we have options for how to adjust that filter between the standard filter shapes of low pass, high pass, band pass and band stop, which also we call it notch. I'll choose low pass filter, which is the standard synth filter, and manually manipulate cut off frequency, and you can hear the difference. Now, if we have high resonance, we can notice the individual peaks of individual harmonic as we sweep the cut off frequency. Resonance is useful when we want to emphasize the sound of the filter, and here is with band pass or high pass and notch. So we can shape the spectrum of the sound like EQ, however it's not exactly the same, and I will explain it further on. Next is amplifier or VCA, voltage control amplifier, which is the fader here. It controls and develops the volume of the sound, like gain, but it's not the same. Now we're going to step 2, modulation and shape. There is always a specific modulator attached to the VCA, and we call it envelope. In effect, we can give to sound a form of our choice. Here we have the letters A, D, S, R. A is attack time, D is decay time, S is sustain level, R release time. If I increase the attack time in a synthesizer, it dulls the beginning of the note. Every time I hit the key, the envelope is going to run from 0 to full value in the time of the attack time, maybe 2 milliseconds or 4, 5, whatever. More you increase the attack, the slower it's going to ramp up. The sustain is a level instead of all the other knobs that are time. Sustain level represents a kind of steady state that the note stays at while it's being held. Now can be some time to get from that full value to the sustained. That is the decay time. And then when we release the key, the sounds go down to 0, and that is the release time. So an envelope controls how the volume of the amplifier changes over time, and is controlled by 4 parameters: A, D, S, R. If I want to make sound swell in, I have to increase the attack time. If I want to make the sound to last more when I release the key, I have to increase the release time. If I set sustain to 0, we will not hear the energy of sound, but if I will increase the decay time, which adjusts the length of the note, we are transforming the note like a plucky or hit sound. And if I set sustain to 100, it's working like a switch. Press note, plays, release note, stops. And finally, LFO, low frequency oscillator, it's like cycling variation in any parameter. Now there will always be a modulation source, in this case is the LFO, a modulation destination, in this case is the oscillator frequency, and always will be a modulation amount, which is the extent of the modulation. Also we have the oscillator parameters of frequency and shape. Now if I will start to increase the amount, we'll start to hear the frequency of the main oscillator changing in response to the frequency LFO. And if I will turn the rate up and down, it will be faster and lower. And if I change the waveform, overall the most basic concept of sound synthesis is manipulating the sound over time. That's why instead of simple EQ we use filter, and instead of simple gain we use amplifier. They can both manipulate the sound over time. Thanks for watching. See you soon.